Good morning. Is anybody else here with me today?
Hi, Janet. Amber, I am here.
Guys, what a relief.
Hi, Lisa. I know. Thank goodness.
Hi, Lisa.
Lower this a little bit. Yeah,
Yay.
my work is kind of firewalling some of this stuff. So,
Yeah. Oh,
all right.
Hi, Janet.
hi, Mark. How
Hi.
are you?
Okay, how are you?
Nice to see you're joining us today. Did your wife tell you to do that?
My wife gave me permission.
Permission. We appreciate that. I've worked with Mark for quite a long time. I don't know, like 5 years or so, and the FPA of Orange County. But now we lost Lisa. Oh dear. Oh, there we go. There's Lisa.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, awesome. Oh, there we go.
All right. I don't know how many people are in attendance today. Does anybody know?
105 are on right now.
Great.
Mm-hmm. But I think that there might be some confusion about the different breakout sessions.
Yeah, because they only opened one at a time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
But it looks like there's 9 people, 4 out of 9. I don't know what that means.
No, that's the video. You can have 9 pictures on the screen, and 4 of them are taken.
Awesome.
But I don't know how to tell how many are actually non-video.
Mm-hmm.
There are 9 people attending, 4 on video. It's on my screen on the top, just to the right of the middle.
Yeah, I think the 9 means there's 9 possible.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good idea. You lost Amber.
Sorry. So this site isn't loading for me. So I'm thinking I'm going to take myself off camera so that, because I'm kind of using 2 systems here. And if I refresh over here, it kicks me off. So I'm going to go off camera so that I can just use this phone to watch the chat.
Oh, I can help out watching the chat if you'd like, if that would be more helpful.
Or let me even see. I'm going to go ahead and type something. All right, so it did pop up for me, but for some reason, yeah, see, I'm not seeing what you guys posted on this system. Oh, Janet, you're in Seal Beach too? Yeah, same here.
Are you? Good. I guess Mara,
Yeah, we're local people.
we are. We'll have to have a reunion, a women's symposium reunion.
Yes, I like it.
Once we're back in person.
I'm ready for it. Ready for normalcy.
Cannot wait.
I'm wondering if anyone's going to join us.
No.
They probably got on at 10 and they're already in process doing another one. And let me go out, and if you look in the sessions, I think it says how many are in there. So I'm going
to... Before you go out, Janet,
they're
only offering an opportunity to get on one session. So if you go out, you may not be able to get back in depending upon what's listed, which I think is a problem with the way this was set up. It doesn't list all of the options.
I think we finally fixed that. So hopefully I'll come back. If not, I'll let you guys know.
Okay.
And Lisa, you are originally from Vegas, right?
Yep, I'm a Vegas
Is
native.
that where you're still at now?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. I applaud everyone for trying to pull this off. This is a whole new ball game for
I know.
conferences.
Yeah, and yeah, I think it was a lot, the technology alone. In fact, I was working perfectly fine. And then today, for some reason, nothing loads on the laptop. So I have to kind of keep refreshing. So yeah, technological challenges abound.
I think the little, it looks like an eye or something, that says how many people are in there, which means there's only the 4 of us.
Okay.
So do we want to just scoot into another session and watch somebody else and come back?
I would rather listen to your words of wisdom.
Awesome. Go like this.
Well, it's being recorded, so I'm thinking that we could have a chat.
That's true.
And prepare for the next session, which hopefully will have more participants.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
Well, kind of start off I sent in to you, Amber, the list of 3 ideas that I had for topics. And then I actually read the instructions, and it said to talk about a financial plan. Financial plan. Let me get to the words. Back up here. Here. What does it mean to be financially literate? What are the core elements of a financial plan? Selecting a financial advisor, financial wellness, and thriving. So I don't know. We can actually ask, I suppose, and say, what are you interested in learning about? Especially if they are in a second session of financial literacy. What do you think?
I say we just kind of run with whatever topic we prefer. So I know, Janet, you gave me a few things, and then Lisa, I know you're, huge on motivating and mentoring and that kind of stuff. So maybe we even just start with kind of topics that you guys are hearing that are hot topics for people right now. What are people concerned about, or what are some of the challenges you're hearing from your clients the most? And how do we address them?
Yeah.
I'll hop in there, Amber. I know for my clients, I work with millennial women, so women typically under the age of 40. And what financial literacy means is that people really know and understand their money. And I think that given the statistic that the majority of Americans, 75% or more, aren't working with a financial professional, aren't using a financial app, they're living paycheck to paycheck, because to them, that's managing their money, making sure that when paychecks come in, that they have a plan for that money. But we know so many people are in debt because they really, truly don't know how to track their money. They don't know how to understand what they're making, what they're spending, what they're keeping. And on the financial literacy front, I think that it's about starting with those basics. Do you know what you're making, spending, and keeping every single month? It's likely you're not keeping anything. Well, why is that? Because there's no systems in place to track your money. I think having a plan then ultimately is where we grow to. You have to first become literate and really understand the choices that you're making, the compounding effect of the choices that you're making, and not take for granted. I think that most people get that, because in my world, they don't. That's what it means for me.
And that's it.
I think that this symposium is extremely important because most of the money in this country is going to be ultimately managed by women, because women outlive men. And all too often, women will leave the management of the taxes and the investments and all of these types of matters and the planning to their husbands. And this spells disaster. And there's an interesting fact that when a husband dies, 80% of the time the women change their advisors. And it's not because the initial advisor was bad, it's because she's nervous and she doesn't understand why he or she did what he or she recommended or what he said that you should be
He
doing.
also, Mark, I think probably ignored her. She said she didn't know what was going on and possibly didn't interact with the husband's advisor and didn't feel supported by him, maybe sidelined.
That's true. That's absolutely true. And by the way, if any of you get a chance to talk to somebody in the FPA booth, it's Lori Dubchansky. She's a brilliant financial planner. Brilliant. Smarter than me. At any rate, Lori, for her husband, and with her and her husband, she did all of the work. She sent all of the packages to the CPA. Everything was done, sent by Lori. And up until recently, he had questions. He called the husband, not Lori. And I think advisors need to be apprised of this kind of problem. In my situation, I literally insist in any kind of a planning mode that both spouses be in attendance, not just the husband. And if the wife says, I don't really get involved with that, my answer is you are the beneficiary of that, so you should understand that. And basically, I really prefer that you're both there. In addition to that, you should both be at your attorney's office when you draw documents. When my clients do go to the attorney to draft documents, I do my very best to go with them. And the purpose of that is for me to ask questions that I may know the answer to, but I think these are questions that they should be asking the attorney. So I think those things are extremely important. And basically, one of the things you could be taking advantage of with some clients, there are webinars, pro bono webinars, presented by the Orange County chapter of the Financial Planning Association, and coincidentally, Lori is the chair of that. And these are very good seminars, and the people presenting these seminars are bound by FPA rules. They cannot provide service or planning for any of the people on the webinar. So it's not a risk to a financial planner to say, why don't you attend this particular webinar and then we can chat about the content. So there's another opportunity for you.
Lori, since Lori is in one of the expo sessions, they can go in there and talk to her and get all the information on that. So that's a great plug for her. Thanks for that.
She's brilliant. Lori is absolutely brilliant.
The things that I've kind of found that people are talking about, they have ignored their finances for so long, and now they are embarrassed to talk about it. They don't know where anything is. They don't know what kind of assets that they have. I even met with a couple who said that the husband was going to be getting laid off, and they wanted to know, but they gave him I think 3 months heads up. And so they said, where do we go from here? I said, well, bring in all your documents, all your statements. She ended up having 16 loans. They paid the minimum on all of them. If the dog got sick, they got the credit card from the vet. If the student loan debt, every time they went to school, they got a different loan, and they maxed out everything that they possibly could. And I think they were smart. It wasn't that there was a lack of capacity to understand, but kind of what Lisa said, there's no they're not paying attention to what they have and keeping records. And that's the very beginning of understanding where you are, is saying, where am I now? You can't go anywhere until you know where you are, and understanding the cost of being in debt. Those are the two big things for people that are looking for help in that kind of situation, I find.
So maybe I'll even start the next one with, kind of what you ladies see as a definition of financial literacy, or what does financial literacy mean to you? And then that can kind of lead into maybe some of these other things, or maybe we'll get some questions and I can just post those out to you as well.
Lisa got muted somehow. Amber, do you have control of that?
I think she muted herself.
But she wrote a note saying, Amber, I'm muted.
Oh, really?
She's also frozen on the screen. or maybe it's the connection.
She's not frozen now, just muted.
Oh, Amber got kicked off.
You know, my wife's been trying to mute me for years.
She just has to talk to you on a Zoom meeting every time with her as the moderator. Oh, we love. So it's just you and me, Mark. How are things going for you? Yeah, your son got married. How's he doing?
Well, my son basically is doing very, very well. His practice, he's an attorney. His practice is doing really, really
Great.
well.
He's in New York.
His wife, they live in New York. My wife is my daughter-in-law, his wife, my daughter-in-law, is due May 25th.
Oh, wow. How exciting
So
for
I'm
you.
And they just bought a home in the Park Slope area. They bought a townhome in Park Slope of Brooklyn, that area. He's just doing really well.
Great. Oh, there's Amber back.
And I can hear you guys, but I just wasn't visible.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Well, good thing we didn't say anything bad about you.
I know, right?
That Amber, she keeps disappearing.
Her hair, what a mess.
I think I'm back now too. Can you hear me now?
Yes. And I can't imagine how I did that, but I think I figured out how to undo it.
Okay. It's good. I think we have a few minutes left on the chat. We're supposed to go till 10:30, I think.
All right. Hello, ladies and possibly gentlemen. I think there's 9 of us. Not sure if I see Lisa on here. And Janet, I think you're here, but I can't see you either. If you ladies want to go ahead and put your screen on. Lisa, Janet, are you on with us? I don't see you ladies yet.
No, I am on. Let's see.
Hi, Kay.
Hi.
Amber, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I don't know. I clicked a button. I didn't really mean to do that, but is anybody else on or?
Well, there should be.
Oh yeah.
And my two speakers aren't here yet, or I can't see them anyways. Okay. But they should be. We said 10:40.
Okay.
So I have to check my chat on this phone, so I'm not looking away from you here.
So there's Janet. Yeah.
All right. I think Lisa's here as well.
I'm going to turn my video off so I can see you guys.
Well, you can leave it on. We're good with that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're looking for?
Oh, I'm just here. I just, I'm just taking all the information in. I am an entrepreneur. I have my own company. And so I'm just looking to see what kind of tidbits I can get. And if there's something that really just bites at me, for me to follow up.
Okay, well.
So both of these ladies are fabulous when it comes to talking about financial literacy. So since it's a small group here, I think ladies, I'll kind of just let you run with what's working for you and kind of what's empowering women to take control of their finances, and we'll see where it goes.
Awesome. Well, I know for me, I spend the majority of my time teaching women about money who know nothing about money. Making money isn't a problem. They make great money. And I think what it comes down to when it comes to financial literacy is they don't know what they don't know when it comes to financial planning. And when I start with the financial planning conversation with my clients, I'm not a financial planner. I was a financial advisor. I left the industry to become a full-time money coach. And we focus on education by saying, okay, first we need to make sure that you know your money, you know what's coming in and you know what's going out. And then once we get to a point where they can really have a handle on their money in their business and personally, we say, okay, then we talk about what a financial plan actually is and how to utilize a financial plan. And so ultimately it's with starting with the end in mind. I play videos with them, get them in their heart center and really start thinking about what if you live to be 100 and you're not going to be working till you're 100. Hopefully that's the hope for most of us. So a financial plan is that roadmap. And in the absence of a roadmap, where are you driving to? Where are you headed? And they don't know. So those are my opening comments about a financial plan and the value of a financial plan. But I don't think everyone is ready for a financial plan. I think there are some stepping stones to get ready for a financial plan. And that's what I do in my world is I teach them those stepping stones.
Great. Let me jump in there a little bit. I am a certified financial planner and work with women who are trying to decide where they're going. So a financial plan, kind of like Lisa was talking about, first of all, you have to find out where you are right now. And then if you want to take a drive to somewhere, I usually use a train analogy. You get on the train, I'm in Los Angeles, and say I want to get to New York. If I don't know where I'm going, I could just get on any train, right? It didn't, kind of like Alice in Wonderland. It doesn't matter where you're going. It doesn't matter which way you go. And if I decide I want to go to New York, and I'm off and the train, that's the switch points you off in the beginning, the switch is super small. And if you get to maybe Phoenix and correct, it won't take you long out of the way. You don't know, if you're not paying attention, you could end up in Florida instead of New York. And so the financial plan kind of is that same idea. First of all, you have to know where you are. I'm in Los Angeles. You have to just figure out, you have to look at everything that you've got. I know when I was little, I was afraid that there was a monster under my bed. And in the middle of the night, I swear that I heard something and the light switch was across the room. So I climbed on top of my nightstand over my dresser so I could reach the door without having to go on the floor. And turned on the light, looked under. Of course, there was nothing under there, a little bit of dust bunnies. But that's how sometimes it is. People they don't know about their finances. They don't know what they have. They're afraid to look. And that's the very beginning of where you have to start an open appraisal of where you stand right now. The second one that Lisa kind of also alluded to is a plan where you're going to go, setting goals. I'm taking a class right now where you have to make these decisions. What are my goals? It's basically improve my sales. And I had to write down, okay, what am I going to do in what amount of time? All of those goal settings that they take longer than you think they should. And you have to take a block of your time to just think through it. But without knowing you want to go to Florida or you want to go to New York, the things that you're doing now are kind of placeholder. And without a goal, without a dream, you won't be able to figure out how to get there. Mm-hmm. So let's say now you want to go to New York. And on the way, you say, okay, I want to stop in Denver. I heard that's a cool place, and then I'm going to stop in St. Louis and look around there. So you have these shorter goals along the way to get you to New York. And basically, that's it. That's entirely what a plan is. Where you are now, where you're going to go, and how to get there. But it does take a lot of thinking, and that's why we have people like Lisa and myself who help people through this and help people figure out what their goal is, find out where they are. I have people come to me and they say, I don't even know what I have. here's all of the statements that I get from my credit card companies. Here is my paycheck. Here's what I have in the bank, and then put all of that together. So we're really there to assist people and help them move through what this process is, the steps are to get there. I see Lisa kind of was talking, it said on here to start with a financial audit. She has this fancy word for it. I call it looking under the bed for monsters, because we have all made financial mistakes. So, and facing them is the first step, right?
Yep.
The financial audit sounds much more professional. Thank you, Lisa.
No, you're good. I actually don't use the word audit typically,
Okay.
But I think that's you were like speaking to. That's what we should do, right?
It's exactly right. It's exactly right. Figuring out where you are.
And I think, Kay, you're in a decent spot with these ladies. They both are small business owners as well and have started, their own companies. So, and clients that I see, I think it is a hard place to be when there's so many unknowns with a new business or what things are going to look like. How do you kind of audit that situation with so many unknowns?
It's a scary place, especially last year for a lot of small business owners, where thank goodness for PPP and thank goodness for idle money, because I don't think a lot of my clients would have made it through the pandemic, honestly. And my business definitely slowed down an incredible amount, and we're getting back on track. But the truth is, as an entrepreneur, there's very little certainty no matter what. And what I teach is through the simple tracking systems of tracking your money is that we are responsible for our own financial stability. We are responsible for creating that certainty. And it's through regular tracking and monitoring and learning how to read your P&L, learning how to read your monthly statements. Starting there will help you feel like you have some control. And then, like I tell all my business owner clients, is let's just focus on making more money. That doesn't solve all the problems, but if we can learn how to sell and we can learn how to market and we can learn how to make more money and reach our target audience, some of our financial problems might go away with those basics, making sure those are happening every single month.
That's a great idea, especially for entrepreneurs where you have more control over your income. Maybe you do produce more, you do more, you spend more time, you've got more marketing. People that are not entrepreneurs, it's a little bit harder to control your income. So you're given a salary, you can ask for a raise, they may or may not give it to you. You may move to a different company to try to get more. But the real key focus, and the one thing that almost everybody has control over, is spending the money that you're putting out. I have a lot of people just say, there's no way to cut back. And I say, okay, do you ever go to Starbucks and do you ever buy their coffee? Oh yeah, I have to stop at Starbucks every day on my way to work. And I pick up a coffee and I said, well, do you ever get any pastry? Well, of course I get pastry because I can't resist them, right? So there you figure out these little expenses sometimes, the little habits, the little things you say I have to have that are not really have. And so controlling the outgoing is sometimes a lot easier, less pleasant, but a lot easier, and something that we can really control. It's and the other thing, like a stock market, you put your money into the stock market, there's no controlling that. So the one thing that you have control over is your own finances. Your entrepreneurs, you have better control over in, but out, everybody has to pay attention to the money that's going out.
I agree. I think that's where the emotions come in. And that's how I spend a lot of time with my clients working through the emotional piece of spending, the emotional piece of business ownership, because what they describe to me once they come in my world is that they just want to get off the roller coaster. And a lot of that actually is being really emotionally connected to our money and what's happening with our money versus being able to look at it objectively and saying, okay, if I'm taking these steps, for me, that's really what financial literacy means as a business owner, as a human being, is we can watch and understand our money in a way that we can ride the highs and lows, knowing that there's a plan, there are systems, and I have my financial team around me to call any given moment to make sure that I'm making the right decisions. But there's such a huge emotional attachment to that, right? You tell somebody they can't have their Starbucks and they're like, no, I'm not willing to.
Well, do you want to have money or do you not? Exactly.
Yeah. And I think sometimes, Susie Orman got in a whole lot of trouble with millennials when she told them to stop drinking their Starbucks. And for good reason, I think, because it's, for me, more about prioritization of spending, prioritization of goals, knowing how one choice affects the other choice. And that's, for me, the financial literacy. The power of having financial literacy is that you have the power to choose. You're not just in the automatic or in the reaction of reacting to your money. You're in control.
I think that's a good point. And I'm not picking on people that drink Starbucks. But I just mean to say, look at everything you're spending your money on. And there's different ways to do that. But finding out the consequences of your choices is the other thing. So having Starbucks, I function better and I do better and I could produce more, versus I'm not putting that money away, and the compound interest that affects that money that you're not saving. So making wise decisions and conscious decisions, not just, standard responding to whatever, the current stimulus is. You see something on Amazon, you say, I have to buy that. Well, do you really have to? The step back on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So after talking, so all of that, as you know, Kay, is budgeting, right? Figuring out what your income is, figuring out what you're spending, and finding out what you have left. And really the next step to making a financial plan has to do with what's left. Obviously, we really encourage that you start saving. The key word is save. Pay yourself first, especially as an entrepreneur. It's paying yourself first. Consciously saying, this money is put aside for my future. This money is put aside for this specific thing that I need to invest in. Investment rather than spending, and the difference between those. Nod your head, Kay, if you know the difference between investing and saving and spending. Exactly. Good. So you're well along the way then to understanding why we need to do this. So we really recommend the very first thing to do, start your savings for emergencies. And last year was a key example of why that is important, because the people that had savings or had this emergency fund, they probably didn't have enough. Who would have thought it would be a year that would be here? And probably most people, emergency fund is 6 months. But the people that had money put away for an emergency did not have to access their credit cards, which means they saved hundreds, maybe even thousands in interest charges that they didn't have to pay. So that's the very first thing that you need to do with your money. Put your money aside, figure out how much you would need to live on to keep your company going for 6 months. Put that aside and save that in a very safe vehicle, maybe even a CD, but a savings account. And then money after that, and that's why sometimes people need help doing a financial plan, because everything else it depends, right? What are you going to do with your money? It depends. What are you going to use it for? It depends on what your next goal is. It depends on what you want to do when you retire. It depends on your family circumstances. So all of these facets of your life work together and are important to know and to look at as you're making a financial plan. Say your retirement, just for 2 examples. One is I want to travel every continent in the world. That's my goal. And I want to make 3 trips a year, and each trip is going to be, $20,000. Okay. That's different from somebody who's going to retire in their home that they already have paid off, and that they are looking forward to spending time with family and to doing local things, and maybe sewing or a craft thing, but don't plan to spend a lot of money in retirement. So somebody who wants the first one is going to have to do something different from the person who has the second one, as you could probably figure that out, right? You say, okay, this is going to take me $100,000s of dollars, and this is I could live on, 40, 50,000 a year and balance and have enough money to cover my entire retirement. And then there's also your family life, right? So if all of your grandparents lived to 99, that's different from somebody whose family has had health issues or had, some kind of, anyway, there's shorter life expectancy. Kate, is your family long lived? You look healthy. So do you think that, maybe you need to plan for that longer extension of retirement?
Well, I am retired.
Oh, you are retired.
Oh, okay. You are retired.
Oh, okay.
I have a pension, but I'm an entrepreneur. I have my own business.
Oh, okay.
So,
Nice.
That's great.
Okay,
so
nice.
At that phase, I just wrote to Lisa, I am saving right now to spend. I am not saving to save. I mean, that's minimum, So the rest of my life, I want to spend. I want to do the things that I want to do. So now it's not a matter of need; it's a matter of want.
Good for you.
The one consideration, of course, is health insurance, right? I mean, your health coverage, making sure that
my job pays that. For the
nice.
rest of my life,
That's great.
I have long-term health care benefits, so I'm pretty good in that sense. I mean, there are a lot of things early on that I wish I had done differently, but
we all do.
I'm 77 years old.
Oh, you don't look it. You do.
So this is my time.
Good for you. I think that there's so much to be learned from that, Kay. And if, we have younger audience members listening to that, that's where they want to be when they're your age and they have no idea how to get there. And I think it starts with a healthy conversation, which I love. What I love about the symposium so much is that it's a bunch of women getting around and talking about money, and that doesn't happen enough.
Right.
That doesn't happen enough. And then I'm sure wanting to know that you're spending on the things that matter the most and having clarity on your spending, for a lot of people, that's important to them as well. And I always say that spending on experiences is going to, and there's research that suggests that the spending on experiences versus things gives longevity of joy more so. And so just focusing those spending dollars for UK and then anyone else who's here listening and watching is, let's make sure that we're spending on things that matter, not just stupid stuff. Right. And
that's something I tell my clients all the time,
Yes.
Experience is much more than, than spending money on things,
Exactly.
And I travel for a living and I take groups on African safaris. So I always tell them, don't think about the money, think about the experience.
Right.
Oh, that's awesome.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's on my bucket list, Kay.
And you know what I say is take it off your bucket list and put it on your live list, because those animals are declining every day.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
Wow. So when's the last time you went?
I was there in November. I went by myself because I had to postpone all my groups, but I went by myself to see what the climate was and so forth, and I had a fantastic time. I'm taking another group in April, but it's kind of up and down right now. I'm not really sure, but it's planned.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that, Kay.
So I appreciate the information, because honestly, I wish I had known a lot of these things when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
But I learned the hard way. But fortunately, I have a pension that takes care of my necessary needs, and then so I was able to work out this entire year without having to really use my credit card. So I must have been doing something right, even though I wish I had done things a little bit different.
Yeah.
We don't look at the past. We made the best decisions we could at the time. There's no beating ourselves up for choosing things that we might have chosen differently when we learned more, right? As we learned and grow. And that's why it's nice that Lisa's working with younger clients, that they won't have to go and say, dang, why didn't I do that? Or why didn't I know that? Because they're learning younger.
early learning.
Yeah, the earlier the better for in every way. Absolutely true.
You know, it's a great statistic is that millennial women are the most highly educated generation. And it's women, it's not millennial men. They're the most highly educated person in the United States today. And with women, I think what's so important when it comes to financial literacy is that we don't want to take action until we know or until we feel confident that we're doing the right things. And so educating ourselves, and I offer programs where it's simply education, like let's learn how to level up together. And so I think if anyone's looking for a place to start today, it would be through simple education and finding groups and worlds where you can learn about financial planning, where you can learn about investing before you jump in and actually start to take action. And like you said, Janet, I think control your spending first and foremost, learn how to do that. Your net worth, if you're looking for a place to start, your net worth is a great place to start. Most people that I work with don't know how to calculate their net worth. And those are simple ways to get started, just looking at your money. So then over time, you can learn how to ask the right questions about money and start moving in the direction of your dreams.
Yeah. The only other thing, Kay, that I would mention to you, just because of your situation, is making sure that you have all your estate documents in place.
I do.
You do. Awesome. So just in case somebody doesn't, I just mentioned it. So a will, if you don't have one, the state of California has a will that they will accept, a handwritten will. Also a medical directive, so that if you get sick, somebody can have the ability to look at your chart, and somebody who can make decisions for you, say if you are not able to make them yourselves for some reason. And also if you have a complicated estate, to open a trust, depending on what kind of assets that you have. But definitely the medical directive, because under the Privacy Act now that is enforced for medical information, they won't give information to anybody anymore. You have to have something in writing for them to be legally able to let you even talk to them about what medications you need or anything like that. So you should have somebody designated to be able to step in those kind of cases. And that's for everybody. But especially the will, and everybody should have a will. So I'll tell you one short story. So I've got 3 kids, and my husband and I were going on a trip, and we couldn't decide. So if we died, he wanted his family to take care of the kids, and I wanted my family to take care of the kids. So we couldn't agree, so we didn't do anything. So what I did was, the night before we left, I made a handwritten thing saying, I want my kids, and put it on the counter. Came back, snuck in first, and tore it up after we got done, and we were alive. But that's probably not the ideal way to do it. And but those kind of things are important sometimes, right? Because there could have been a huge family crisis if something had happened. So I really recommend that everybody have something in place, especially if you've got kids. They need to, and if you have a family that is there's conflict of any sort, and you can even have a plan for your funeral. I mean, it sounds morbid, but it takes the burden off of the people that are trying to plan for you. I've heard of a family where the mother said, I want to be cremated. The one daughter said, okay, we're going to do what she said. And the other said, I am absolutely not cremating her. And those 2 daughters fought and fought and fought, and they completely split, which is not what you want to have happen to your family when you die. You want them to grow closer because you're gone. But having in place and spelling out what you want is really, really important. So on that really depressing thought, I'm going to turn it back to Amber or Lisa.
Yeah, ladies, this was great. Really appreciate all the info. Hopefully, Kay, you were able to grab a tidbit or two. If you have any questions, we have another quick minute for that.
I don't. I really appreciate just hearing, maybe validating what I've been doing, but certainly hearing what you're sharing. And I agree with you that really everybody should learn early, really.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Wish we could have. Yeah.
Well, thank
that
you,
is-
ladies, so very much. Did somebody have? Sorry, Lisa, did I cut you out?
No, just thanks. Nice to see you, Kay, and we'll see you back here at 11:20.
Sounds
Yes,
good.
okay.
Have a great day,
Okay.
Thank you,
ladies.
ladies.
Bye bye,
Okay.
Kay.
Thank you.
Okay. Break.